Hey y'all, it's Lynn Howard, and we are going to talk about what the hell is writer's block and how we can get past it. So it's a little dark today because it's a little gloomy outside. It's fall, it's perfect weather, it's windy, so if you see my hair ruffling, it's not a ghost. It's actually wind coming through my open windows. So the term writer's block was actually coined in 1947 by Edmund Burglar. Now, obviously, this phenomenon has been going on long before that, but it was actually given a name in 1947. This is going to be a little bit of a smaller version of my podcast, which you can go back and listen to about writer's block. So I will not be able to list everything because obviously that video would be way too long. So a few of the causes of writer's block are things like ADHD, stress, lack of sleep, emotional turmoil. I'm one of those people that if there's something going on in my life emotionally, it's taxing, I don't have the emotions to put into a book. You gotta be able to put emotions into a book or it's not believable, right? Depression, fatigue, anxiety, things like that are all causes of writer's block. Writer's block is not actually like a disorder. It is not a disease. It is something that is caused by other factors. Some of the symptoms of writer's block are kind of obvious. There's brain fog. There is drawing a blank, which I just did because I'm at the end of my Botox shots for my migraines. Frustration, inability to focus, and of course, stress because you're not writing. I'm sorry about my voice. If it's hard for you guys to hear, turn up the screen. I'm still recovering from this past weekend where we went to a car show and I have a raspy voice naturally, so I'm yelling over the cars and the burnouts and the music and things like that. So bear with me. I covered this like a year ago, but we're going to cover it a little bit more in depth this time, and I'm a little bit more comfortable in front of the camera now. So one way is to change your environment. I have my room, my office, my cave is what I call it. There are times where I'm kind of flustered and a change of scenery helps. So I might go to my bedroom and write on my bed. I might go to the couch. My favorite is when it's nice out, I'll go back to the patio and sit at the table. Oddly, I sit my laptop on the table and I put my keyboard on my lap, and that's how I write. Not literally down, I prop my feet so that it's still wrist level. Cut your distractions. Say hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
Maybe if you have the TV on, turn that off. If you can't write when your kids are screaming or playing or, watching TV, wait for them to take a nap, wait for them to go to school, wait for them to take a bath, go to bed, what have you. Maybe cut off that Netflix, because while I am a background noise person, it has to be something I've already seen and can say word for word. Otherwise, I catch myself looking up. I also like music in the background. That does actually help my writer's block, but it cannot be too loud, otherwise it is distracting. Read something outside of your genre. Sometimes if you're, I'm a paranormal romance author, so I write a lot of shifter romance and sometimes vampires. I have dabbled in romantic fantasy recently with elves and fairies and all that good stuff. But sometimes when I'm in a funk, I'll read outside the genre. I'll read bodyguard romance or maybe a thriller or a cozy mystery. Sometimes that will jog your creativity. There was a day I sat in front of my computer till 3:00 and I could not form words. So I finally went into the living room and started reading a nonfiction book, actually Brian Cohen's email marketing book. I don't know, but it jogged it and it worked. You can always research for the book you're working on. Maybe research their career. You can research where they live. Or if it's like a fictional character like an elf, things like that, you can research some folklore. Now, you can always make them whatever you want, but if you research the folklore, it could tend to give you a little bit of an idea of a storyline, right? Set a better sleep schedule. We are all guilty of this. So you're going to have to stop scrolling through TikTok till 2 a.m. or watching YouTube videos or reading Twitter feeds. Maybe stop watching Netflix, binging that show till midnight. Set a better sleep schedule. I have a very regimented sleep schedule because of my migraine disorder. So I'm in bed about 10:30, and I'm usually up between 8 and 8:30. Depends on how, bad are my spins, how long it takes me to get out of bed. But if you know that, say you need to get up at 5 a.m. because you want to write before you go to work, you're going to have to be asleep by 9 o'clock or you're not going to get enough sleep. You might be an oddity. My best friend is one of those people that if she gets a solid 4 to 5 hours, she's good to go. I'm not one of those people. I need my 7 to 9 hours, or I don't function because of the stupid disorder. A really big one that took me a long time is relaxation and self-care. Relaxation was not something I ever learned. I never watched my mom really relax. She was always working, and there was 5 kids, so she was always doing something. We range in age, an 18-year gap there. The oldest to the youngest is an 18-year gap, so she was always doing something and working in 2 jobs, so I never learned to relax either. Self-care was something I had to ask people, what is self-care? I thought it was like going to the spa and getting a pedicure. Self-care is whatever fills your well. For me, going out and walking barefoot in the grass, or even just sitting and letting the wind go through my hair, watching the birds, that is self-care. It fills my well. And in turn, it helps me relax. If you're pushing yourself too hard, if you're burning the candle at both ends, you have a full-time job, you have kids, you run a house, and you're trying to write a book, it's going to become a chore, it's going to become a job, and guess what? It's going to stress you out, make you tired, and give you writer's block. It's going to be all full circle. Never feel like you have to write every single day. There's a lot. I know I've talked about that. When I say it, I mean set a schedule, a writing schedule. And that might be 3 days a week for you. I tend to write 5 to 7 days a week, but that's because that's what I do full time. I write. That's my full-time job. And I enjoy it. It makes me happy. I hope I'm not going in and out of focus because the sun is like peeking through the clouds periodically here. It's kind of pretty though, because it's all yellow and orange outside because we're in the Midwest and it's such a pretty day. But don't feel like you have to write every single day because again, it's going to stress you out. It's going to feel like a job. It's going to give you writer's block. Take a break from your current work in progress. You know, maybe you're stuck on that one for a good reason. Take a break, read a book, start another project, start plotting another book. Take a break from it so that you're not forcing it, because if you force it, it comes off as force when the readers are reading it. And finally, when all else fails, walk away. There is no shame in walking away and taking a break. I've done that. I've taken 3 weeks before. I am a very not emotionally outward, but if I'm emotionally drained, I cannot focus. So like say when my dog died, it was 3 weeks before I could function enough to write. I still did research, I still did marketing, things like that, but I couldn't focus enough to create a book. So I took that time off, and there's no shame in that. It's okay. If you need to walk away and take a break, if it's a couple minutes to go do the dishes, if it's a day because you're too tired, if it's a week because there's too much on your plate right now, there's no shame in that. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So that's what I have for you today. If you want more tips, more symptoms, and more causes, feel free to check out my podcast, Road to an Abundant Author Life. And I will see you guys next week. Mwah! Bye.